What is going on, guys? Sports Runs on Diesel back at you here with another video. And today we're going to be talking about the NBA Finals, Game 1 between Miami and the LA Lakers. And yeah, it wasn't the most competitive of games last night. Even though Miami did get off to the hot start, they were up 23-10 midway through the first quarter, and then LA went on a 21-5 run to end the quarter, and rest was pretty much history after the first quarter. The Lakers shot 11 of 17 from downtown in the first half, and it was just all Lakers from that point on, from the second quarter on. And Kentavious Caldwell-Pope only hit 3 field goals. He was 2 of 6 of downtown, but those 2 threes he made in that stretch when they were down by 13 points midway through the first quarter was huge because it set them up for the rest of the game and it got their confidence going. And if you're Miami, obviously, what ways can you make this series more competitive? The Lakers out-rebounded you by 18. They absolutely demolished you. Now, I will say this. The Lakers had their ups and downs in this game. They looked flat at the beginning of the game, and they looked flat in the end of the game. And, obviously, they got a little too comfortable with that lead. And you're up 32. I think they were up by as much as 32 points. And, I understand Miami kind of got back in the game. But Miami made this a 13-point game with 3 minutes to go. And if you're the Lakers, you can't let that happen. And, I give credit to Miami for showing a little heart at the end of the game. But we knew the game was kind of a wrap by then. But to me, LA's got to be... if LA's going to blow them out, they need to blow them out. Like, if they're up by 32, it needs to stay there. You can't give Miami chances to come back. Miami has had a lot of comeback wins throughout the regular season and in the postseason. And you can't give Miami any life to make a comeback or to find a way to get momentum into the next game. But Miami's going to make this a competitive series. There's no doubt about it. They deserve to be there no matter what. And for me, the one thing that's going to kill this team is the injuries. Bam Adebayo going out with that shoulder strain. And then Goran Dragic with the patella tear and I think his left foot. So this is a huge blow to this Miami Heat team. And for them to be competitive, Bam Adebayo is the guy that helps them stay competitive. He's practically one of the only guys that can guard Anthony Davis on this team. I'm saying on this team, Bam Adebayo is probably the only guy that can guard Anthony Davis because there's no way Iguodala, Solomon Hill, and Kelly Olynyk, and some of these other Myers Leonard. I haven't seen Myers Leonard put on sneakers yet in the playoffs. But you have like 4 guys, and the only guy that really can guard him is Bam Adebayo, and he could be out the next game with the shoulder strain. Who knows? He could be out the rest of the series, but you could tell he re-injured. He was hurt in the Boston series, and he just re-injured it last night. So that's huge. Positives for Miami. Kendrick Nunn coming off the bench, 18 points in 20 minutes. I thought that, and I understand most of those minutes were kind of garbage minutes, but some of those minutes were, valuable minutes. And Jeff Van Gundy said there was no wastable minutes from Kendrick Nunn last night because this will give Eric Spoelstra confidence to put Kendrick Nunn in the starting lineup. And remember, Kendrick Nunn started 67 games in the regular season, averaged over 15 points, scored over 20 points over a dozen times in the regular season, was second in the rookie voting. So don't sleep on Kendrick Nunn. Kendrick Nunn could be the piece to this Miami offense, that will get them going offensively and make this series competitive. Dragic is so crafty and he uses his body so well. It's a crushing blow. Who knows? It's the NBA Finals. A lot of players have played injured in the NBA Finals. We know all about Isaiah Thomas in the 80s playing against the LA Lakers and spraining his ankle so bad he still played and gave the Lakers the business in the NBA Finals in 88. So, 89, So, do not sleep on Gorjan Dragic or Bam Adebayo. Because it's the NBA Finals, they're going to do whatever it takes to play and to make this a competitive series for Miami to get to even up the series in Game 2 on Friday night. Now, with that being said, there are other positives for Miami. Kelly Olynyk was a plus 14 in the plus-minus category in 18 minutes off the bench. Now, I will say this. Kelly Olynyk is not really a shot blocker. He blocked 2 shots late in the game, and I know those are garbage minutes. But when you're only down 15 with 3-4 minutes to play, those blocks are huge in a sense because that could swing Miami had momentum in the fourth quarter. Let's just be honest here, because the LA Lakers got a little too comfortable with that 32-point lead they had in the third, and they just they just walked around like nothing was going on and like, oh, we won game 1. But if you're LeBron, and I can understand LeBron getting upset with his teammates, I can understand it because as a leader of a team, you do not give up big leads like that and give them a little bit of a momentum into game 2. You can't let that happen. So I can understand that. Jimmy Butler had 23 points. That's a positive sign. But in order for them to be competitive, I think Jimmy Butler needs to have more than 23 points. He's only averaging 19, 20 a game throughout the whole entire playoffs. Jimmy Butler's got to look for a shot. Jimmy Butler needs to go for 30 to 40 points a game. He needs to average around 30 a game in this series for this to be competitive at all. And if you're the LA Lakers, keep doing what you're doing. Look at Anthony Davis. 34 points in his debut. That's third all-time in a Lakers uniform in their NBA Finals debut behind Shaq, and I think it was Wilt Chamberlain or Elgin Baylor. But with that being said, the Lakers, and you guys remember the statistic I told you guys last week, the Lakers are 7-0, now 8-0 when Anthony Davis scores 30 or more points. And the Lakers are now 54-0 when they have a lead going into the fourth quarter. So remember those two numbers. If you're a betting person, remember those. Remember that the Lakers are undefeated when Anthony Davis scores 30 or more, and they're undefeated when they have a fourth quarter lead. So keep those in mind. And obviously LeBron did LeBron-like things last night. 25 points, 13 rebounds, 9 assists. We know what LeBron is capable of. And he showed it in the second and third quarters. And even, the minutes he played in the fourth quarter. LeBron shows that he is still practically one of the most dominant players in the league, if not the most dominant player still in today's league in year 17 of his career. And the last thing, I'm just going to get off my pedestal here while we're talking. The biggest thing here is if LeBron James absolutely, if he loses this series against the Miami Heat, the problem is with that is this just adds more space in between him and Michael Jordan as the greatest of all time. That's what this is coming down to. Now, LeBron has been to 10 NBA Finals in 17 years. If you're any NBA player, that is a fantastic career. But at the same time, though, to go 3-6 in the finals, and if you lose to the Miami Heat in the NBA Finals, I will tell you right now, there's no way on God's green earth that you're going to be put in the conversation with Michael Jordan. And a lot of players, like you hear Stephen A. Smith, you hear Max Kellerman, you hear these guys every day in and day out, these analysts that are saying he is not even in the same conversation as Michael Jordan. He's sitting at the table as Michael Jordan. He's on the Mount Rushmore with Michael Jordan, but he is not the single greatest player in NBA history. You can't put him in the conversation with a losing record, a convincing losing record in the NBA Finals. And if you're LeBron James, you gotta win the title here because this will bring you one step closer to that conversation. And honestly, I hate debating and talking about different generations of basketball because to watch, I would love to see LeBron go through what Michael Jordan went through with the bad boys in the Detroit Pistons with the Jordan rules. And, to be like some NBA players that played in those days were surprised Michael Jordan got out of it alive. Because every time Michael went to the air, he got shoved to the ground, he got hit, he got beaten up practically. And for him to come back and have 6 titles on top of it, 2 3-peats. You know, it's just part of the legacy of MJ. But off my soapbox there for a second, let's get back to the NBA Finals in Game 1. Game 2, there's a lot of things that could go right and a lot of things that could go wrong for the LA Lakers here. Obviously, they cannot come out flat like they did in Game 1. Like Anthony Davis said at the end of the game, you cannot come out flat because, honestly, Miami will burn you. And especially if Miami gets hot from downtown. Miami is second in three-point field goal percentage. Don't forget that. But the Lakers are one of the best teams in the NBA, are top 5 in the league at three-point percentage defense. So keep that in mind. We got a great team that can shoot the three real well and has multiple weapons. But here's something else. If you're Miami Heat, Jimmy Butler, you got to find a way to get Duncan Robinson involved. Duncan Robinson started the game and finished with nothing. Absolutely no points. And for me, to watch Duncan Robinson torch the Boston Celtics in Game 6, and I mean, Duncan Robinson, he's like Ray Allen in a sense because he doesn't need much space to get the shot off. And it's going in no matter if you're on him or not. So if you're the LA Lakers, you got to hone in on, keep making it hard for Duncan Robinson is the big thing. And number 2 is you gotta make sure that no one on Miami gets going from the 3-point line because once one player gets going, everyone gets going. So, but that's all I have to say here. This is only Game 1 of the NBA Finals, and there's a lot more coming here. And we will see what happens on Friday night in Game 2. I just think if Miami's going to make it competitive, it's unfortunate about Bam and Dragic, but don't sleep on those two. If you see them come back for Game 2 or even Game 3, if they don't come back in Game 2, but Miami's got to find a way to make it more competitive. And playing that zone defense didn't really work yesterday because they were getting torched inside and outside the 3-point line. And you know Eric Spoelstra. Eric Spoelstra is very good at making adjustments, in-game adjustments, as well as getting prepared for Game 2. And we will see what happens. As I always say, we will see what happens in Game 2. But thank you guys so much for your time. Please leave a like and subscribe if you haven't already. Stay tuned for more NFL, NBA. Obviously, we got Major League Baseball's postseason. Obviously, we know about the Braves and their win last night in the 13th inning. So there's a lot going on in the world of sports. Serena Williams gets hurt. Obviously, the COVID-19 outbreak in the NFL. If you guys see my last episode, you guys will know a little bit more about that. But stay tuned for more content. Thank you guys so much. I will see you guys all in the next one. Deuces.